my coffee, let's talk some shit about some books. Hi, I'm Casey, and I don't know what I'm doing. If you're new here, I talk about books, wrap-ups, occasionally vlogs, tags, all that kind of stuff, all the good booktube content. You'll find it here. Yeah, words, I don't know. I'm still trying to wake up this morning, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Anyways, I have a pile of books I'm looking to get rid of, and I thought that this would be a perfect time very shortly after I did a book haul to do a book unhaul, so let's talk some shit. The first two books I'm unhauling are two Carrie Fishers. We have Wishful Drinking and Postcards from the Edge. I enjoyed both of these. I thought they were fine. Quite frankly, I just don't remember much about these, and as much as I would love to keep them around, I don't have any space on my shelves for these, and I never think about them, so I think it is time that someone, you know, discovers these in a free little library somewhere and loves them and gives them their proper forever home. The next book I have here is Amazonia by James Rollins. I'm sure you can tell this is a very old book. I bought this way back in high school a very long time ago, and I loved it at the time, and I have extremely fond memories of this. I read it maybe 5 to 10 times in total, and I loved it at the time, but now that I'm older and a little bit smarter and a lot more aware as a reader, this has some extremely problematic shit in it, and I honestly haven't read a James Rollins since I was maybe 20, and I've kept this on my shelves because I had such fond memories of it, but quite frankly, I don't want it anymore, and it kind of embarrasses me when I see it on my shelves now. Speaking of embarrasses me when I see it on my shelves, I have Invasive Procedures by Orson Scott Card and Aaron Johnston. Orson Scott Card, noted bigot and asshole. I've had several of his books, and I have donated many of them the last couple years because he is a noted asshole, and this was purchased for me by an old boyfriend who just like found this at Walmart one day, and I loved this. You can tell here the spine is completely broken in at least one place. I read this so many times all the way through, and I thought it was so good, and when I think back on it now, it's another one that I think just has some problematic shit in it, and the author's extremely problematic, so I don't like seeing it on my shelves anymore, so it's gonna go somewhere else. Next two books I have are two Rick Riordan's. We have The Lost Hero and The Son of Neptune. I read The Lost Hero kind of on a whim several years ago, and I enjoyed it, and so I put the sequel, The Son of Neptune, on my Amazon wishlist shortly thereafter, and then I read the entire Percy Jackson series, which I had not read as a kid, but I read as an adult and enjoyed, but unfortunately I just never got back into this companion series, and I'm never going to. I'm finally admitting to myself I'm never going to get into these again. I'm never going to continue down this series, and that's okay. Someone else will find these and they will love them and they'll be so happy for them. The next book I have here is Playing Possum by Stephanie Rabig. I kept this on my shelves for a month. I read this sometime this year, earlier this year, and I thought it would be fun to have this with the Rue somewhere and have these two books that are, you know, animal themed. They have very similar origins. They're almost companions in a way. But quite frankly, when I was cleaning my shelves off this last week, I looked at this and I went, I didn't really enjoy this. I didn't think it was very good. And I feel like it's just taking up space on my shelf that some other things could take up, and they're not the same size, so they agitate me when they're together. And so I'm just gonna donate this one, or, you know, sell it back to a bookstore or something, because I just don't need this on my shelves anymore. The next one I have here is Saga Volume 1. This one was a little sad. I really wanted to love this, but unfortunately I just didn't connect with it. I feel like if I had the entire series, I would have read it, but it felt like, you know, almost like a popcorn read. It was very easy to read, and I got through it very quickly, and if I'd had more, I would have continued with it, but I unfortunately just didn't really connect with the characters or the story or what was going on. There was almost just too much, and quite frankly, the R slur in here really took me out of it, and I understand that this was originally published at a time where that was far more common. I don't want to say acceptable, but more commonly used, and it really caught me off guard, and I'm never going to continue with this, so someone else can, you know, find this and give it a good home. The next 3 books I have here, my lovely Mimic box Carl picked for me, and I finally got off my shelves, but I did not enjoy them, so they will be leaving us forever, and that is The Evening Road by Laird Hunt. I really didn't like this. I didn't think it was very good. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it just had nothing to say, and as pretty as this spine is, if I see it on my shelves, I'm just going to be reminded of how much I didn't enjoy this book. And then I also have 2 Michael Crichtons, The Great Train Robbery and Eaters of the Dead. Eaters of the Dead I did give a nice solid 20% or so attempt and just hated it and did not think it was very good. And The Great Train Robbery just unfortunately was not for me. As much as I would love to have a full shelf of Michael Crichtons, I would rather them be a full shelf of Michael Crichtons that I love and make me feel good when I see them on my shelves, so these 2 are going to find a different home. Next book I have here is Via Negativa by Daniel Hornsby. I read this last year, and I'm glad that I read it, but I honestly have no recollection of almost anything in this story. I bought this on a whim one day because it was used at the bookstore, and it was fine. I don't have any negative reaction to having read it. I don't think I'm worse off for having read it, but I don't remember anything about this, and when I was cleaning my shelves I saw it and I went, I can make space for something else that I'll really love, so this one's gonna find a new home. The next book I have here is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Part of why I am going to leave this in a little free library somewhere is because it's got some extreme, I believe this is coffee damage. I've had this for over 10 years now. It's followed us from Texas to where we are. It's been every move. Oh, you can see the giant like coffee cup ring here. Maybe it was a soda. It doesn't really matter. I loved this whenever I first read it so long ago, but I have never thought or wanted to pick it up again, and I honestly think that my reading taste has just evolved a lot since I originally read this, and I'm happy to give this to someone who would actually, you know, enjoy it in the current day. Also, it has the movie cover, which I just fucking hate. I'm pretty sure I just bought this at Walmart really quickly because it was very popular at the time. Obviously, the movie was coming out, and I hate movie covers on books. It drives me crazy. And then the last one I have here is The Ritual by Adam Neville. I have kept this on my shelves partially because I bought it just, you know, at full price, being like, I'm gonna love this, it's gonna be great, and then it ended up being one of my worst books last year and my least favorite books that I read, and I felt worse off for having read it. And I kept telling myself that at least it's got, you know, this nice folksy horror cover on it. It'll look good on my shelves, but every time I've put it on my shelves, it's faced outward with just this black spine, and it doesn't fit, and every time I see it, it just frustrates me and reminds me of how frustrating a read it was, and so I need it off my shelves so I can make space for things that I'm gonna love. I have a whole desk full of shit that I haven't read yet, so I don't need to keep this around. Okay, that's it. That's a quick little unhaul. I didn't have just a whole lot to unhaul. I'm actually pretty pleased, especially having, you know, reorganized some of my shelves and completely dusted in this room. I thought I might be pulling off a lot more than I ended up pulling off of my shelves. So I'm very pleased, and these are all going to find new and loving homes in a free little library or donated to the local library to sell or something. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please feel free to do algorithm things if you want, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. That feels so awkward to say. And I will see you next Friday. Bye.